Okay, we are live. Okay. Welcome to this episode of Camping with the Pups. Thank you everyone for joining us. We normally do our podcast every other week, and this is not the week that we would be doing it. But we felt very strongly about what's going on, especially in the RV community with the fallout from Hurricane Helene. And so I've done some research recently on what I could find for resources and wanted to share with some people what all we have available for y'all that we found on there. So
it's been really eye-opening to see a lot of the devastation that's been going on. Cell phones are out, roads are out. It's amazing. It's just not amazing, but just totally devastating. But communities and people missing and everything just being totally gone.
Yeah, just an example on some of it. 1 second, just trying to make sure we have our feed on both Facebook and YouTube right now, which we do. Okay, good.
Gotta love technology.
Excellent. Which we do on Facebook and YouTube, so we can reach the most people possible. But to give a idea of some of the stuff that we've seen here is this first video I'm going to share is actually in Virginia, which is where we're at. We're further north than this. This was in Southern Virginia, but we actually have immediate on some of this. So unfortunately, the river went up and took out a campsite. And as you can see there was a camper that went over on one of the sites on there. And so there's been a lot of damage. I'm sure y'all have seen some on the news. We also have some good news stories as well. This is one on CBS where the local community had come together to assist with one of the RV campgrounds that got hit. And then you also have some issues coming up here that people need to be aware of, that there's still a lot of roads and everything that are down, especially North Carolina and Tennessee. We had a lot of impact in those areas. I'm sure you've heard on the news. They're still trying to get power. They're trying to get supplies in there. So if you don't have to go through certain areas, double check ahead of time and make sure that the emergency vehicles are the ones that can get in. So we had, just came up today, I saw some detours for North Carolina here. In the western part of North Carolina here, you want to avoid coming through I-40 and looks like 26 coming down here, unless you're an essential vehicle on that. And another area that got impacted, because people are traveling through Tennessee, especially that area of Tennessee, one area that we've gone to quite a bit, Pigeon Forge Landing.
Yeah.
Didn't get hit too far. That's near Sevierville, Tennessee. But people trying to get into North Carolina because of these blockage have been trying to go through Gatlinburg to use those roads to get into North Carolina. The caution with that, a regular car is fine. We've driven through there. The mountain roads up there, especially right where Gatlinburg is at, is not designed for trucks.
No.
Trucks, large RVs. We use a GPS that helps with RV routes. And there are a lot of roads that not only have sharp turns, but even like turnaround hairpins that come back around.
Yes. And even with our RV GPS, we've been fortunate. Excuse me. We've been fortunate enough to go through some of those turns during the daytime and can see how hairy and scary they are. I can't imagine trying to go through some of those turns at night.
Yeah, it's pretty bad in there. So
last year, a friend of mine got married. We stayed at an Airbnb up in the mountains, right in Pigeon Forge, and those GPS did not take us the same way twice. Like we were like in three or four different routes that took us back to the Airbnb, and those roads were really, really steep. They were very curvy. Their road sign saying 15 miles ahead, and they even say sharp curves ahead. Steep hill, blind, is very steep, so you've got limited vision. And since I was doing some of the driving, I'm not even going to lie, there were times as we were coming up the hill, I was literally like trying to stand up in my seat so that I could try to see coming up over the mountain. So yeah, the mountains in Gatlinburg are nothing to play with. Yeah. So please be careful.
There was a lot. What happened, for those of you that aren't aware, the impact of the storms is there was rain beforehand, so there's already moisture there. And so the hurricane coming up the middle of the country, or the middle of the East Coast, really, inland, caused a lot of rain from the hurricane, as well as the mountains there caused a lot of mudslides too. So a lot of roads and stuff went out with that. So another road graphic I have here shows 40 and 26 in Tennessee. They're estimating into next year for that. Let me adjust the lights real quick here. Sorry. As impromptu, we didn't get the lights completely set, but so you have 40 maybe close as long as September of next year, and 26 may have closures up to March. So it's going to be difficult for people that normally take that route for how they're going to get in and out. So right now they're trying to get emergency shipments in first. So and like I said, there's a lot of rivers and everything through the Appalachian Mountains that comes down through Virginia into Tennessee and the western part of North Carolina. And that's a big concern is the wash off on there. So that's why people are cut off. One good thing for assistance is cell towers got impacted. So you had power and communication. There's a lot of people still trying to find their loved ones. So the communication is an important part of that. There is a link I have here. And by the way, all the links will be in our webpage for this. But anyone in the affected areas, they are trying to put up more Starlink, which is satellite internet. And for anyone in the affected area, I heard earlier this week that they're going to give this month for free, whether you're a normal member or not, to help with the internet coverage. Because there's a lot of people still trying to even make contact with people because power lines, phone lines are out in a lot of areas. And cell service is difficult in the mountains to begin with. But when those towers go out, it's crazy. So getting into some of the, for those of you that want to help, first off, before we get too far, for those of you that are in the Florida area, we have a lot of friends in Florida. We go down there quite often, and they're facing another hurricane this week. It's Tropical Storm Milton right now. I just saw a weather report today saying that they're estimating Tuesday night into Wednesday, more likely Wednesday. It'll make landfall around Tampa. They're still looking at tracks because it's still early, but they say it could be anywhere from Tampa to Fort Myer on the coast. And if it hits Tampa, the last time they said it hit Tampa was 1921. So it's been 100 years.
Wow.
So they've gotten a direct hit. The concern there is they're saying it's going to, wherever it makes landfall, it's going to make landfall on the Gulf Coast of Florida at about a Category 2 or 3 hurricane. So we're going to be close to, if not over 100-mile-per-hour winds and surges. The difficult part with that is Florida, especially the Tampa area, is still dealing with flooding from Helene. So there's going to be a high likelihood of floods with this week. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is if you don't have to be in the area, especially with RV, don't go there. Okay? You're going to cause more issue. Hurricanes are not designed to withstand hurricanes. I saw a post earlier today, someone saying, how do you prep for a strong storm? We've been in a strong storm. We were in a strong storm last year in out in Missouri, out in the plains, and it was a serious storm. It was a type where they were saying, if you're on the road, seek shelter now type thing, but it wasn't a hurricane. Okay, these things are not designed. We've seen lots of pictures of RVs being turned over and trees down and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was
on there.
That was really scary because we, while it was raining, we had water coming in through the refrigerator, and through the vents and everything. And we had our pups. Our pups were freaking out. We're trying to keep the pups calm. My saving grace was my daughter and my son-in-law had just picked up the grandbabies, and so our grandbabies were back in Missouri, waiting to see if they needed to run down to their basement, to their storm shelter, in case. So they had the kids all prepped and ready just in case they had to make a run for it. But at least they were safe there. And by that point, it was too late for us to even try to make it to the gas station with the pups. At that point, so we just kind of had to hunker down and hope that we were good. We did shift a little bit, being in the RV, and we could really feel how strong the winds were. I think part of our saving grace was that we had an RV on the right side of us and we had an RV on the left side. So, and we were kind of like in the middle. So I think those winds kind of hit them more so than it did us.
Yeah, we had our slides in for the storm and our stabilizers down. And we, even with the stabilizers down, we probably moved the tail end a couple feet in our spot from the winds. And we, like I said, that wasn't even a hurricane. That was a severe thunderstorm in the Midwest, which those get bad, but they don't get hurricane strength, But some of the damage we saw, Buck Creek RV Resort out here. The flooding. A lot of this is flooded out, as you see. And this was a post from a few days ago. And you have, good thing is you have some cleanup in process in different areas. You can see some of these resorts. So there's major damage that went through. And I feel for the owners of these RVs, if they come through your area, if your local area says evacuate, and they're already doing evacuations in Florida for this next hurricane. Orlando, we have people in Orlando, which if you're not familiar is in the middle of the state. Disney, for example, Disney and Universal have, during the time when the hurricane's supposed to come, have stopped taking reservations, hotels, everything. They've shut down for this hurricane because it's going to be, like I said, 2 or 3. A couple models say a little higher, but most of them are saying between a 2 and 3. So you're talking 100-mile-an-hour winds when it makes landfall. So if they tell you to evacuate, pack up and go. This is not the type of stuff you want to be in for.
No.
My heart goes out to a lot of the campground owners because while you can get insurance just like for your home and have some stuff for some of the damage, they lose out on a lot of income.
Yeah, they do
during this time.
Yeah.
And if they're not in an area where you get all your snowbirds that have around the year, there are a lot of campgrounds, especially when you get up into the mountains, that don't get much bookings over the winter, type thing. Mm-hmm. So think about some of the places you go to, especially the places you visit all the time. I saw a post that said if you can't make your actual visit this year, if you were planning to be there around this time and you can afford it. I know the economy's such, a lot of us can't afford, but if you can afford to give your spot up, let the campground know, there's a lot of people that are displaced. Maybe they could use your slot for that. Or even if you can afford, take a partial refund or no refund, because that could help them be around next year. There's a lot of them that are going to have issue with even opening up.
I can't even. Devastating.
Mm-hmm. So let's get to some of the, if you need help. Okay. So one of the first things we have is we did some of the campground searches out there to see what's going on and who's doing stuff. One of them in Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach Travel Park is helping people in Carolina. They're honoring the reservations from other parks if they have the space. They're also working through their state association, so you can contact them, CARVC, and the National Association, which is OHI. Those are for campgrounds, for a disaster relief fund if you're looking for help. But there's a lot of places like this that are also getting relief there, but there's a lot of them that are also helping out with people that are displaced. Pine Mountain RV in Georgia said that they made it out okay, and they stand by the other people in the community. They have fully functional facilities, so they're taking reservations, especially their business if you need to move somewhere. Crossroad Travel Park, RV Park in Perry, Georgia, just posted that they're open. It says anyone that's displaced or those arriving to provide assistance. They both have short-term and long-term. They give a phone number here. And again, along the bottom, you see the link to a page on our website that actually has a listing and links to all these posts I'm pulling up. So please go in if you need something in one of those areas.
And also, on that note, please double check with, before you actually donate, please make sure that you're donating to a real cause and not somebody, because people love to scam and take advantage of situations like this. So please make sure you double check.
There was so much information for me to pull in the last couple days in pulling together. I want to make sure it was recent stuff, so I only pulled stuff from the last couple days. We did not have a chance to verify the legitimacy of some of them. A lot of these are posts. Some of them are posts by the actual campgrounds, which is good. That gives me a little bit more, because it's not some place that's just going to disappear if they're in a physical site type thing. But do your own due diligence on that.
Yeah.
In Cocoa, Florida, there's Sunrise Palms RV Park. Also have both short-term and long-term for anyone displaced. I like seeing a lot of these in Florida because a lot of people were displaced, but also in Tennessee, there's going to be some we're coming up with on here. Great Outdoors has a number of them. That's a chain. There is Myrtle Beach. I'll get to that in a moment. Great Outdoors is doing specials for people who were displaced also. But this one here in Franklin, North Carolina is also open. And they have special assistance for people that were displaced. So you go to gorvresorts.com. That's for their whole booking, whole set of them, not just this location, but they have different locations that you can look at there. State Park, Laura S. Walker State Park in Waycross, Georgia, is open and available. They mentioned that their staff has been working with volunteers to make sure that there are different areas that are there. They are dealing with down phone lines at the golf course and stuff like that. So look at that stuff. But they are operational for the camping side. So in Tampa, this one again, don't head there right now. I would say in front of the flooding. This one isn't fully open yet. They're telling you right now, even as of October 3rd, they're still dealing with flooding. So this is what I was talking about, that there's still places in Tampa that are flooded from just a couple of days ago. So they're going to have a high likelihood of more flooding with this hurricane coming in this week. So this notice here was telling people if they don't have to drive through the resort, don't, because they're dealing with trying to get all the water out of the sites and stuff like that. And I feel for them coming up. So if you have plans in the next week or right after the next hurricane, check with them first. And I would say that with our RV parks. Yeah. Check with them first.
And make sure that you definitely check your routes, check for detours, and make sure that you're adding enough time to get to where you're going, because there's going to be a lot of detours, especially along I-40 and 26.
Yeah. The Blue Ridge Parkway National Park, that's one of the most visited national parks on the East Coast. They're closed in North Carolina, and they just said they're closed indefinitely. They don't know when they'll be back open. So be aware. In Ruskin, Florida, we have Hawaiian Isles RV Resort here, which says all the buildings and restrooms and showers, etc., are open. They're still working on restoring all the electricity in the homes, but their RV sites and the buildings are there. So again, if you need to go there, contact them first and see.
And also keep in mind that, all these the RV resorts that are still open, they're going to be receiving a lot of phone calls, a lot of email messages if you have that capability. But so please be patient.
Yeah, definitely.
Please be patient. Don't it's not their fault, So please be patient, and everybody's doing the best that they can to help where they can. So let's work together and not let tempers flare. Let tempers flare.
This one here from Living on Wheels, this is their most recent update, which was October 2nd. They still didn't have electricity, and they were saying that the power company wouldn't even be out there till the 5th. So that was yesterday. So I'm not sure where they are now. They do have generators, and they keep the propane going. But they're looking for assistance as well on that. So that's in, where did we say that was? That was in Metter, Georgia. Forgive me if I mispronounce it on there. And then in Perry, Florida, there's some RV lots being advertised that have full hookup. So let's pull this up. So that's in Cedar Island Road. It's called Keaton Beach. So that's on the Gulf of Mexico. And they said they still have full hookups. They've got availability for people that were displaced. This is a actual page they posted on that was RV sites for sale, rent by owner. But they did say they've got, lots available as well. So if you're looking, you've been displaced, there are resources there. There's also other types of assistance available. I've got a few sites on web pages and stuff you can get to. I understand a lot of places do not have internet. We talked earlier about Starlink trying to set up more, especially in the mountains. But there is emergency relief in some of those areas. One thing I did want to bring up on there was a couple places in North Carolina and other places. It's not just people in their RVs that need help. I found this one site called Hurricanes, All Lost and Found Pets and Livestock. A lot of times people get separated from their pets. So this is a place where people are posting if they've got pets. This one, for example, these two cats, they are microchipped, but they are up in Sawananona, Wards Lake. I'm not sure where that is. But you have different sites here that people put on Facebook for your overall site too. So they're doing hurricanepets.com for Helene on there to let you know other ones, other posts that might need help on there. And then the North Carolina area, I also saw Western North Carolina lost and found pets for there. So this one, first post here for Hurricane Helene survivors. This site has large groups of horses that they are housing for people who have had to evacuate and they can't keep their livestock where they're at. So people don't always think about when you're moving people out that there's the animals too. And it's not just pets. Sometimes it's their livelihoods, their livestock.
Yeah.
On there.
That's important too.
Yeah, we have family that own farms. Not down there, luckily, but I wouldn't know what they would do if they needed to evacuate up there.
I don't know either.
So with that, some of them are dealing with repairs. There is in Florida a link to temporary RV and camper parking. There is the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management put out a notice. This is for those of you that have RV or you get RV. We'll get to some places that are doing RV rentals and stuff for people that are displaced. Florida, at least, has in law here that you can live in your own RV or a RV that you're using on your own property for up to 36 months or until your home gets a certificate of occupancy. So if you got a total loss and you had to rebuild, or you couldn't, maybe not total loss, but the renovations are such you can't live in there, you can live on your own land with that, perfectly legal, while your repairs are getting done on there. So they have a site here I got a link to on our page that will give you more info on that too, on that. And then, of course, you got insurance. There's a couple places. They have a cat response team. One of these is K2 Claims, is North Augusta, South Carolina. For helping people with insurance claims. This is Jesus General Insurance Agency. I know I mispronounced it on there. And another one, Lazy Days RV. Y'all know them if you're down Florida. They may be other places as well. But they actually have on their site here that not only do they have, inventory of RV and stuff like that, but they've advertised recently on their Facebook that they'll assist people with insurance claims on their RV too. If you don't know what you need to do and file, they have people that will help you with that as well. They're doing that as a service for the community because it's their community too, So this is in the villages, but I saw this on a couple of Lazy Days sites, RV down there. And we actually saw Lazy Days when we were down in Florida last time. It was one of the sites we went to. So we haven't bought from them. We bought ours up here before we traveled, but there's some repair places. I Tow Trailers here was letting people know that they do RV repairs or camper damage. There's a few places down there that do repairs. If you need estimates, they work with insurance. And there's most of that. There are places that are doing, we got good news stories too. This company, the Light FM, has been doing airlift of supplies. They have a small plane. They've been going down to North Carolina.
Okay.
I know we've heard in the news that there have been people that have worked on trying to evacuate people. There have been some resistance between individuals in the government. So we won't go into that. We aren't getting political stuff, but I know there's been some issues with people trying to help. But there's then ones like this that are, and they tell people Samaritan's Purse.org is a disaster relief. Now I've seen them pop up on several different posts. They're collecting for supplies to North Carolina and some of those.
Yeah, I know. I know Dolly Parton posted that she was donating out of her own bank account money to help with relief and everything.
So with that, let's say you not just need a site to go to, but you need something to stay in. Your RV's gotten damaged or your home's gotten damaged. You don't have an RV, so you're looking into this. There are a lot of places across that area, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, they're offering some type of deals in temporary rentals. One of them, a couple of them have asked for anyone that wants to donate temporarily for rental their RV. We'll get to that in a moment. But in Florida, we have Tampa, Florida RV rental here. This one from Dan Magino is offering Hurricane Helene across the South U.S. They're offering stable housing, or you just need something flexible. They have renting an RV or travel trailer. They have some ready-to-move-in units, for example, is what they're saying here. So there's links for that. Make It Happen Auto RV Sales also said that they've got specials for temporary housing while replacing your home. You might purchase as well on there. Campers in RV, we've got one up here that we've gone to. Apparently they're nationwide as well. They've got reduced pricing for those that need temporary housing, and they also have rentals also.
That's good.
So there's a lot of things. That's the thing before we get too far into this, thing I found heartening is how well the RV community has come together. Everyone in the country, I mean, we're all Americans, have come together for, at least in dealing with this disaster, type thing. So there's been a lot of people doing donations, collecting, moving stuff down. But RVs can be a good temporary home. It can be a lifestyle like the rest of us, type thing. Yeah. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of campgrounds who've been impacted. And I've seen a lot of goodwill stories of people coming together. There's some where we have here that locals and volunteers have come to dig out and clean up some of these campsites that have been impacted.
I mean, shortly after we got back, we were hit with the storm that hit our area, and we were unfortunately in the vicinity of a lightning strike. And it knocked out our AC, our garage, our internet, our dryer, one of our TVs, the generator to our house. So when we lost power, we literally were down, and that was kind of fun. And we ended up having to stay in the RV for a couple of nights because it was just so hot. And of course, we had to take the pups in there. And of course, the pups were a little confused because we're home, but we're in the RV.
Yeah.
But it was much cooler than trying to stay here. We had our fans going. We got a fan going on right now, but we had all the fans going on. We even bought like 2 or 3 extra fans to put in different places of the house, along with the ones that we already had downstairs, and just had them going all over the place just so that we could have moving air. And so sometimes the RV is a lifeboat.
But yeah, it's the RV community is a great community. I love being part of it. When we're at the campgrounds, everyone's friendly, stuff like that. But that goes beyond just when we're on camp, type thing. So that's great. So just the pouring out of resources. So you got Fireside RV Rental in Myrtle Beach. Said that they're here to help those in need on that. We also have Individuals Outdoorsy does rentals. This one posted saying they have a 2023 Forest River that they're willing to rent for those affected. So this is actually an individual who's offering up their fifth wheel for people in need down there in Florida. There's another one here dealing with someone's asking for a friend. Does anyone have an RV to live in? So these are people that are also looking for help. Kristen Amberly, they asked if people could share, so we're sharing it on our video too, type thing. So hopefully we can get help out there. One I saw that was actually kind of nice is this Journey USA RV rental. They're offering affordable housing, I said, short and long term. They're offering out rental for RVs. And they have two sites, this link, and they're both on our webpage. This one's for people that need a place to stay, that could rent one. And the second site is they're asking for people who have an RV who could temporarily rent theirs out to individuals in the Tampa, Florida area that need it. They say, you'll make money on the rental and they will insure while you have it, type thing.
Yeah.
So you're covered if there's any issues with it, the people in it, there's any damage like that. They will take care of that for anything during that rental period on there. So if you're in that area and you can help, reach out to them. Perry's RV also is mentioned. I think we pulled them up before. Oh, that's the other one for the Journey USA RV rentals, which, yeah, we did have. And then in Allentown, Georgia, there's an RV. This is actually a campground, 4-county RV park. But this is one of them, you may have seen that before. This is one of those campgrounds that has a few RVs as permanent on the campground. And they rent them out. Okay. Pigeon Forge Landing has a couple. Yes. We've gone there. We've hit Pigeon Forge Landing RV resort a couple times. More than a couple. And they've got a few that are like their own RVs that they rent out if you want to do RV, but you don't camping, but you don't have your own. So this one here, 4-county RV park, is advertising that they have some, if people are out there, they have laundry facilities, stuff like that, if you need so. And that's in Georgia. So there's several different things you can do. Now, one thing I've seen a lot of people asking is, okay, I don't have an RV that I can give up right now. I'm using it. Ours is actually going in the shop. We got a little bit of damage after the last camping trip, so we've got to get that repaired. But how else can I help on there? So there's a lot of different places that are taking donations on here. One of the first ones I saw here was one of these airdrop. They are actually bringing up people to Operation Airdrop. You can click on. They're looking for supplies they're out of Texas, and they're air flying in supplies for people that are stuck from the hurricane or affected on there. In Hickory, North Carolina, Lakeview Baptist Church has a donation collection. They list on here the different things they need. They're in Hickory, North Carolina here. Got the address. They need batteries, mops, chainsaw oil, propane.
Baby food,
baby supplies, diapers, that type of stuff. Formula, stuff like that. Clothing. A lot of people don't think about in disasters. It's not just the food. Yes, that's important, food and water, because it's hard to get active water, but personal hygiene stuff, being able to get clean, toiletries. A lot of these people left their home in an urgency, didn't have time to pack much, type thing. So Treasure Beach RV Park in Delaware, that's a collection point they're sending down to Western North Carolina. This one's going out tomorrow. They're loading up if you have that. There's several of these though that are going through the 11th, so you have another week on that. And then go to our site. I'm not going to leave this one up long, but there's a few that we have here that just gave a list of different organizations that are helping. And thank you to all these organizations for chipping in. You got Diaper Bank, for example, of North Carolina, Babies Needs Bottom, Operation Airdrop we talked about, Cajun Navy Relief, Wine to Water, Horseshoe Farm. There's probably another one dealing with the livestock on there. Hope for Homesteaders, Operation Barbecue Relief. I'm assuming doing food, stuff like that. Emergency RV. I've seen them in a couple places on our list where they're also doing that, where they're loaning out RV for people to live in for a little while. Quite a few. Samaritans, Purse again on here. There are some that are local, some that are nationwide. They're on the ground now. So if you need to go to some of these, look there. Keep all these people, not just the people who are impacted, which sadly the last count I heard was there was close to 200 people that have lost their lives from here.
That's a lot.
And they're still saying that number is going to probably be higher because they haven't recovered everything. So keep them and their families in your prayers, as well as all these people that are on site assisting on there.
Especially the people that are volunteering their time to do all of this. That's a lot of mental stress. That is a lot of mental stress.
Yeah. Map RV Rentals has collection points. So they're not only doing RVs, but they're collecting supplies too. In Ohio, there's a couple of spots that they're bringing down there. We got Sundance Lakes RV Resort in Port Richey, Florida. They aren't collecting. What they need, though, is they need people to help clear up. As I mentioned, you have different places that the local volunteers have chipped in. There's a lot of mobile homes in that area, not just RV parking, that have mold, have some of that stuff. They need people with tools to help out. There's a lot of elderly and stuff up in that area too. So if you can't donate supplies, money, but you're in the local area and you can donate some time, that's greatly appreciated also.
Yes.
On there. I've got Blue Ridge Lodge and RV Park, in Morgantown, Georgia, is another collection point in Georgia. They'll be transferred to do different places. They're accepting cash and debit donations, as well as supplies, clothes, sleeping materials, winter items, and bottled water. Those of you that are in the camping community but may not camp too much in these mountain areas here, I understand it's October. October is starting to get cold at night.
Oh, yes.
Up in the mountains. When that sun gets past the area, it gets chilly. So even though we won't think of winter as winter clothes, it's getting the time where, especially if you don't have a house or a place to get into, those would be very important items. Yes, for people.
Yeah, because once that sun starts setting behind the mountains, that temperature changes drastically as the sun sets.
Mount Holly, New Jersey is having a collection point for those affected in Asheville, North Carolina. This one is actually, there's a donation collection point at the Maple Machine Mount Holly Powder Coating parking lot. That's got the address here. 10 Lippincott Lane. Then we have Windy Sky RV and Cabin Rentals in Clayton, Georgia, is another collection point in Georgia for some of those. They're reaching out to the River Vista RV Resort, and they're getting supplies from Reese Hardware there. So that's in North Clayton, Georgia, if you have stuff you need to donate and you're in that community. In North Carolina here, there's a few locations in Candler, North Carolina, and Nona, North Carolina. They're saying of distribution centers. There's a link here for a number of different places that are collecting supplies. Riverside Golf and RV Resort has a GoFundMe page. This is for that actual resort. They got some major damage, so they're trying to get back on their feet. If you want to donate to them, Mountain Stream RV Park Assistance, they have a Give, Send, Go page. That's similar to GoFundMe. It's another raising. I don't know them at all.
I've never heard of them.
But there are sites for that. In Port Richey, Florida, we mentioned another one. Oak Springs RV Resort needs people to help with cleanup efforts there. They're putting out a dire need in Pasco County. They've either got to spend a lot of money to get people in to clean up, which they don't have, or looking for volunteers because they can't do it on their own out there. A lot of these parks, if you've noticed, a lot of these camping parks, go back to the regular screen. They're small family-owned parks.
Yeah, most of them.
You have the nationwide ones, you have the big resorts, but you have a lot of these small family-owned parks, and they're going to have a hard time opening back up after this. And they're having to foot the bill up front. I know what it's like. We had some, as you mentioned, we had some damage to the house from storms.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were staying in our RV, everything, I mean, granted, I've got homeowners insurance, but everything had to be paid up front.
Yes.
And then you get reimbursed for it on there. So for some of these RV parks, it's going to be huge for them just to clear out. Even if they get hit that bad on power and water and stuff like that, they've got to clear the sites out enough to where people could stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, you pulled up a picture, and the first thing that came to my mind was I was wondering if it was Talladega Creekside, because that's what it looked like. It looked like that first when you first come into Talladega, there was that RV that had the cover over it.
Yeah. And
they're right near a creek bed, and they have actually said that on a few occasions they do get flooded. The water comes all the way up to the top of the porch.
Yeah. For those of you that have followed us, that's one of the places we stayed at. Quaint Little, they got river tubing that goes down, but it's just small. They got several buildings, probably a dozen or two, couple dozen, RV sites on there. But yeah, they would have a rough time with something like that.
Yeah. Nice people.
Very nice, yeah. So another one is this Camping World. People have different views of Camping World as far as selling, but some like it, some don't. But they're really chipping in here. They have any Virginia location for Camping Worlds picking up supplies, especially co-drive, and those will be sent down to Asheville to hand out on that. So if you have supplies to send over, go there. They're going down Friday, the 11th. So like I said, a lot of these are doing the 11th, so you still have time to go on some of these. In the Virginia Beach area, there's an office for, this is Republican Party of Virginia Beach, but they're at their office, they're collecting because the Attorney General is doing a trip down, so they're filling up an RV to get supplies down. The good thing about this, regardless of whatever your political is, help where you can. There's a lot of places that it's like, this isn't about politics, it's about people, type thing. So I'm glad he's going down. If you're in the Virginia Beach area, drop by there to drop stuff off so they can get stuff down. And or any place that's local to you. If they're doing a drop off, please stop in on that. There is the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund. We have a link here. This is if you just want to donate money. This is government. So I'd feel a little comfortable with that on there because it's not just a GoFundMe that someone set up on there. You also have North Isle Community Center in Emerald Isle, North Carolina, is doing a collection. So for Western New York Hurricane Relief, there's a bunch of organizations that are also having drop-offs as well. This particular one, I put the community center there, but if not, you got a lot of different places here that are also doing drop-offs for it. And then in Avery County, North Carolina, there's this webpage set up for storm recovery. And they've got a lot of updates on how to get help. If you need help, what places are taking donations, stuff like that. So this is just organized for that community on there as far as a Facebook page. I saw a post, someone said their house they have a house in Florida. They do have an RV, but it's up in Ohio. So they're looking for someone that can help them move it. I'm assuming it's a fifth wheel or something that can help them move from Ohio. Yeah, it says 23-foot Winnebago. Yeah, from Ohio down to Florida because it looks like they're going to be using it in Florida for a while their place gets repaired. Similar to what we said before, where they'll allow you to have it on your property on there. There's also in Tennessee, as I mentioned, a list of organizations that were helping in North Carolina. There's a link to a list of organizations helping in Tennessee as well. They're quite down here, so you can connect with some of them. For example, Bristol Motor Speedway has opened up its campgrounds for shelter and RV parking as well as 10 sites. There's places accepting donations. You got the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee and Knox County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee are collecting donations for the areas. So again, you've got places, do your own research, but then if you don't have time to research this GoFundMe or Sengo or whatever, there are government areas that are being locations for collections and donations also.
Yeah.
So. We also have South Lake RV Park in Tennessee. Will be they have a campground, they said, that's there in the disaster area. You can reach out to displaced families. They freed up some sites, so contact them beforehand, of course. There's only so many sites. They have water and 30 amp, but they do have bathhouse and stuff like that. Relax Retreat Carolina King. They realized I was going to be doing tongue twisters today, huh? On there. So they posted here. This is a reel. I'll let you go to, but they say they have 20 cabins and 40 RV sites that they're opening up for those that are affected. And then Servant Hearted Sisterhood also has a list of organizations. So this is another one like the one in Tennessee that I mentioned that has a whole bunch of different places. Some of these look like the same on here. So I might have had some repeats. I was trying to get a bunch of stuff together for y'all so we could share because this was quite a bit. I spent, the past 2 days?
3, I think.
Yeah, 3 days. So Daniela here. First off, Daniela here being very patient with me because, as I said, this was an unplanned show this week. We weren't planning on, we do every couple weeks, and this was our off week. But I talked to her and I was saying, this is important. The RV community, see all the stuff that they're already doing, but it's scattered all over the place.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can get some stuff together and get it out to everyone. And there are a lot of good things that are happening. I've got some stuff in the news updates section of our page. But if you get a chance, go out there, take a look. Let me actually bring up for you our actual page bring that back up. And we've added a link right up top here for Hurricane Helene help. And scroll down the blog. You got to click on the blog itself. But everything we've talked about today, broken down by category. Donations, places you can donate to, RV rental or sales if you need RV, and some if you are able to, either donate or rent yours. Campgrounds, some of them are campgrounds that say yes, they're open. Some are just people that have given campground updates. We're currently closed. Don't come down here. That type of thing for them. And then news updates and storm guidance. This is stuff that has some of the pictures I was showing you on some of the damage, but also some of those feel-good stories of what RV community is doing to help already that I've seen. But also the cleanup process and stuff. For example, here's one, Damascus, Virginia. That's our area, southern of us, but that's Virginia. Yeah. They have a long road to recovery too. So they have a Damascus Strong Direct Fund for donations and stuff. But look at this. They got a lot. And these are small towns. All of these are a lot of small towns on here. So if you go back, see this, there's, if you need assistance or insurance, help, stuff like that. So we got all these links on our page. And the best thing I could ask y'all is like this video. I'm not caring as much for our YouTube channel. We'll grow normal. We've been going steady. But what that does, if you like and share the video, is it pushes it out to other people. And I hope y'all find this helpful or think it'd be helpful for those that are near and dear to you. And you'll help push it out to everyone else.
Yeah.
On there. Because that's the main reason we did this. Like I said, this was my weekend off. We had other things planned, but it's like, this is important. This is important to the community. We're part of the RV community. And we make sure everyone else, I know y'all are pulling together, but it's scattered out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully this has helped point people in the right direction. And if you know other resources that we missed, there's a lot of stuff for me to go through. If you know other stuff that's helpful, put in the comments.
Yes,
so that
please.
way other people can see too.
Yes.
With that, we have other stuff scheduled for the show. We'll be on next Sunday. I'll have time for that later. We're looking at the timing. We might go back to morning. We might do the evening, depending on how the response to this is. But the 8th and 9th, as y'all know, is Prime Day. I'll be doing a live. I'll give times tomorrow. I'll post on our page. But I'll be looking at some deals that I've been looking at and stuff like that. So there's some other good stuff coming up, light stuff. But this we felt we had to do today. So.
And having to use our RV as a lifeboat during our time, kind of made me really glad that we had it, when we needed it. So kind of good thing it wasn't in the shop yet.
Yeah.
But, pay attention to the mornings. If you're, the watch the storms, watch the updates, if you need to leave,
people,
everything can be replaced. RVs can be replaced, clothing can be replaced, people can't be replaced.
And if you're just RVing, traveling, take heed. The people that live in the areas that are hit like this, like Florida gets hit by hurricanes. They do.
Yeah.
Often. A lot of them hit the Atlantic coast.
Mm-hmm.
A few hit through the Gulf. But they work with it, deal with it. They prep for it. People in Florida right now, today and tomorrow, are prepping. They're either evacuating or they're boarding up and stuff like that to prepare. Houses get messed up. Houses got messed up with Helene. There's towns. There's a news article. I didn't bring it up, but it's on our page of a town in Florida that's completely wiped out after Helene.
Oh wow!
Houses and everything are gone from it. A RV is not going to withstand something like that.
No.
And the other thing about this is Milton. They're saying tropical storm right now. It will be a hurricane when it hits.
Yeah.
It's a matter of it's going to be a category 2 or a category 3. And it's hitting places that already have storm. And the weather person I listened to earlier today said similar to the mountains, where the mountains got a lot of damage because there was rain first. So it was already moisture before the hurricane came through. They're forecasting rain the day before the hurricane hits. So they're already flooded from Helene. They're trying to get rid of the flood from there. They're getting moisture before the hurricane, and then the hurricane's hitting. So there's a very high chance, especially on the coast where it makes landfall, that there will be flooding. And so you don't want to have your RV there if you don't have to until after it goes through. You know, it's going across Florida. Unfortunately, Florida is getting the brunt of it. It's hitting on the West Coast, and it's going to take a day, supposedly for most of the models, to get across and then go out to the Atlantic. But it's going to have storm, and they're already saying in front of it and south of it is going to have storm surges, which means ocean coming in.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be another statistic. You don't need to be another strain on the emergency services, because they go out regardless. They may not go out all the time. If it gets too bad, they will tell you they can't get to you until it gets lighter. But they go out and risk their lives in this stuff.
Yeah.
So don't make them, please.
I mean, I can't even imagine what the National Guard's going through right now.
Yeah.
You know, I can't imagine how much lack of sleep they're getting, trying to help out where they can.
Yeah, we have a comment. Yeah, Dave. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of campgrounds that aren't around now. And without help, there's a lot that might still technically be around, but unless we help them, they won't be there next year.
Yeah.
On that.
Thank you, Dave, for the comment.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. And thank you for watching too.
Yeah. So again, please like and share. If you want to subscribe to us for more info and stuff, that's great. If not, that's fine. But share this so it gets to more people. Yes. That's really what I'm concerned about on this, is that more people get these links and this information. Or go to our webpage. Because I have this list on our webpage. We don't get anything from our webpage. But we have that for people that are looking for stuff after video stuff. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Do you have anything else for them?
I don't. Just be safe out there, people.
Be safe.
Just be safe. And
remember your pets. Our pets are dear to us. That's why our name's called Camping Pups, because our pups are with us everywhere. And keep them out of danger. The storm we talked about we were in, the storm shelter was way too far away. So we hunkered down in our RV because we couldn't get to the storm shelter with our pets. And we were lucky that we didn't get hit too bad.
Yeah.
But if we knew it was coming ahead of time, the storms in the Midwest come up like that. If we knew ahead of time, we would have tried to get ahead of it. But take care of yourselves out there and take care of your pets, and continue to try to reach out to loved ones. If you haven't been able to get in contact, there's a lot of places that don't have communication still. And talk to your local government. Talk about the government. See what you can do to push them for more help. And if there's stuff that they need assistance with, where's their volunteers happening, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
All right. With
anyway, thank you everybody that stayed to watch, and please pass this along.
And for the Camping Pups, Jackson and Maggie, I'm Brian.
I'm Daniela.
And happy camping with the pups.